The moment the police dog began barking, the entire memorial hall froze. Officers in dark uniforms turned in confusion as the German shepherd lunged forward, straining against his leash, eyes locked on the coffin at the front of the church. This wasn't grief. This was urgency. Something was wrong. The coffin belonged to Officer Mark Sullivan, a respected veteran who had died in what the department called a tragic accident. The wooden casket sat beneath a folded flag, flowers lining the aisle, while quiet sobs echoed through the pews. No one expected disruption. Especially not from Mark's canine partner. The dog, named Ace, had served beside Mark for 6 years. He was disciplined, calm, battle-tested. Yet now his body trembled as he growled low, paws scraping against the marble floor. Officers whispered nervously. Some assumed the dog was mourning. Others looked away, uncomfortable. Lieutenant Brooks tightened his grip on the leash, whispering commands Ace had followed flawlessly for years. "Easy, boy. Easy." But Ace ignored him. His ears were pinned forward, tail stiff, eyes unblinking. His focus never left the coffin. A sharp bark shattered the silence. Then another. Louder. More desperate. Ace pulled hard, nearly yanking the leash free, claws skidding as he tried to reach the casket. The sound echoed through the church, cutting through prayers and grief like an alarm. Mark's widow gasped, clutching the armrest. His mother rose halfway from her seat, fear replacing sorrow. This wasn't how funerals went. This wasn't normal. The chaplain hesitated, words dying in his throat. Ace lunged again, barking furiously, then pressed his nose against the seam of the coffin lid. His growl deepened, vibrating through his chest. Officers stepped forward instinctively, unsure whether to restrain him or step back. Detective Laura Chen watched closely from the side aisle. She had worked canine cases before. She knew the difference between confusion and alert. What she saw now made her stomach tighten. Ace wasn't reacting emotionally. He was responding to something specific. "Lieutenant," she murmured. "That dog isn't grieving." Brooks swallowed hard, eyes fixed on Ace's rigid posture. He felt it too, the unease creeping up his spine. Ace barked again, sharp and commanding, the same bark he used in the field when he detected danger. The hall fell silent. Every eye turned toward the coffin. And in that silence, a terrifying thought settled in. What if Officer Mark Sullivan wasn't supposed to be dead? The barking didn't stop. Ace planted himself in front of the coffin, chest heaving, growl rumbling low and steady. Lieutenant Brooks tried again to pull him back, but the dog braced his paws against the floor, refusing to move. His behavior was controlled, deliberate, trained. That was what unsettled everyone the most. "Remove the dog," a senior officer whispered. "He's disturbing the service." Detective Laura Chen stepped forward before Brooks could respond. "Wait," she said firmly. "Look at him." Ace lifted his head and barked once, sharp and precise, then lowered his nose to the coffin seam again. He scratched the wood twice and growled, eyes never leaving the spot. Chen's heart pounded. She had seen this posture before: drug alerts, hidden compartments, concealed weapons. This was not mourning. Brooks knelt beside Ace, voice tight. "Buddy, what do you smell?" Ace whined softly, then barked again, louder, more urgent. The sound made Mark Sullivan's mother break into tears. "Why is he doing this?" she cried. "Why won't he stop?" Captain Reynolds stepped in, irritation flashing across his face. "This is inappropriate." Officer Sullivan's death was ruled accidental. The autopsy confirmed it. "Take the dog outside." Chin turned sharply. "That autopsy was done fast. Too fast." Reynolds stiffened. "Are you questioning procedure, detective?" "I'm questioning the truth," she replied. "Because that dog is reacting to something real." The room buzzed with uneasy whispers. Brooks felt sweat gather under his collar. Ace had never disobeyed a command in the field. Not once. And he had never reacted like this without cause. Ace suddenly barked again, then shifted, positioning his body between the officers and the coffin. Protective. Guarding. Not attacking. That sent a chill through Brooks' chest. "He's not guarding us," Chin said quietly. "He's guarding what's inside." Reynolds scoffed. "This is absurd." Ace growled deeper, louder, stopping Reynolds mid-step. The sound was unmistakable. A warning. Brooks slowly stood. "Sir, if there's even a chance something was missed." "No," Reynolds snapped. "We will not turn a funeral into a spectacle." Before Brooks could answer, Mark Sullivan's widow stood. Her voice shook, but her eyes were steady. "That dog saved my husband's life more than once. If he's telling you something, I want to know." Silence crashed over the room. Ace barked once more, then sat, staring at Brooks expectantly. Decision made. Brooks exhaled. We open it. Privately. The truth was no longer willing to stay buried. The private room was cold and silent as the coffin was rolled inside. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Ace paced in tight circles, nose glued to the wood, tail stiff, every muscle vibrating with urgency. Lieutenant Brooks stood at the head of the coffin, hands shaking despite years on the force. Detective Chen snapped on gloves. Just enough to look, she said quietly. Brooks nodded and lifted the lid an inch. Ace exploded. Barking violently, claws scraping, whining with desperation, his nose thrust toward the opening. The sound was raw, panicked, nothing like before. Chen leaned in, flashlight cutting through the narrow gap. Her breath caught. Brooks, she whispered. This isn't right. Dark bruises marked Mark Sullivan's chest and wrists, too defined, too deliberate. Chen angled the light lower. The uniform was misbuttoned. Sloppy. Rush. Mark had been meticulous. Ace barked again, sharp and rhythmic, the exact signal he used when identifying critical evidence. They said he died instantly, Brooks muttered. Chen shook her head. No. He didn't. She opened the lid further. Beneath the uniform fabric, dried blood stained Mark's undershirt. Restraint marks ringed his wrists. Brooks staggered back, bow rising in his throat. This wasn't an accident, Chen said. This was murder. Ace growled low, then suddenly spun and bolted toward the door, leash dragging behind him. Brooks didn't hesitate. He followed. Ace led them straight through the station halls, stopping abruptly at Mark's locker. He scratched hard, barking once. Brooks unlocked it. Inside, beneath a loose panel, lay a flash drive and a folded note. Chen read aloud, voice trembling. If anything happens to me, show this to Chen. Trust Ace. They rushed to a secure room and loaded the drive. A video appeared. Mark's face filled the screen, breathless, terrified. I uncovered corruption inside the department, he whispered. Someone high up. If I don't make it, Ace knows who it is. The video cut to a struggle. A hand flashed into view. A ring with a distinctive crest. Chen turned slowly. Captain Reynolds wore the same ring. Reynolds backed away, stammering. Ace stepped forward, barking once, final and certain. Reynolds collapsed, sobbing. I didn't mean to kill him, he cried. I panicked. Later, back in the memorial hall, the truth spread quietly. Mark Sullivan was honored not as a victim, but a hero. Ace sat beside the coffin, calm at last. Justice had been served. And Ace never barked again.